it always said to be is that it prescribes. It's prescriptive in nature and says you must do this in order to achieve this result.
Yeah.
It is not a suggestion.
No.
Though Dennis Aseto will tell you that people are taking it as a suggestion, and that's why we have the behavior that we see.
Yeah.
But it is clear, and it says that you must do this. And in the event that it is not clear, that is why you have the judicial system, whereby judicial officers pronounce themselves based on their interpretation and say, from now henceforth, you then will do this. Maina Kiai, and then they went and said, the result at the polling station is final. But it seems to me that it is the same thing. It's the same thing. That's why we look at the headline and it says impunity, because an officer of the county should then be able to pay people. But he chooses not to. But then further to that says, even if the law says one thing and a court has pronounced themselves over my arrest, you cannot arrest me.
The system protects me.
The system has protected me. It is the same principle that says IEBC should not spend a certain amount of money, but we're not going to implement that because why should we?
Exactly.
It is the same principle that says you cannot stand up as a politician and make remarks that will incite people onto violence or hate. But again, it's ignored. It's the same thing where commissioners themselves pronounce themselves over certain things and say, vote and go home. But they themselves remain at the polling station. What are we doing? It seems that everywhere you look. So there is not just, it's like the law in this case is not even just a suggestion, because at least a suggestion you will see. It's under the table, it's been buried in the ground.
I like the language you have used. Neither the constitution provisions nor the written law is actual as an injunction. It's mandatory. We have to live by it. That's why they take that oath to uphold and defend.
Yes.
You understand? So it's up to the citizen now to insist, like the coming election. Given the noise about rigging, which is clearly illegal, the citizens must insist this election finish at the constituency, so that you have 290 returning, those returning officers are 290. What they come to Nairobi is result from constituencies, where the result from polling stations are put together. So in Nairobi, you won't be knowing the president the same night, because usually they start counting the president's vote. So the same night, you know who has gotten in 25% in 24 counties, and you know who has 50% plus one. Before Nairobi announces, you already know what they are going to announce. That's what must happen, and that is why people need to ask the IEBC to, in my opinion, they should not contest that. If they really intend to be transparent, if they intend to be independent, they have no business contesting the constituency, the collated results from polling stations at the constituency being final, because also they have no capacity to verify anything. The ballots from the polling station, after counting, they are zeroed in bunches of 50, and then they put them in envelopes, zeroed. They are delivered at the constituent tallying center. They are not delivered to Nairobi. So what are these people supposed to verify? And then what the few people are verifying is something which was counted publicly. You remember the constituent tallying center, they have unbound.
Yes.
They say polling station here is 200 or whatever. If you are there from that polling station, you can object right there. And if there is a problem, you can open the envelope and count physically. Nairobi, you can't do that. So this idea of the overall returning officer in Nairobi telling us they are verifying, it makes no sense. And I don't know why the country has tolerated that from 2013. You see, the problem also is in dishonesty among the candidates. Every candidate wants to steal the election. So they clearly allow ambiguity in the law to facilitate bad behavior. But if you love your country and you want to cultivate the peace we have had since independence, you know, we may be poor, but we are peaceable. You can be poor in your poverty is fantastic. Because the misery, trust me, in a violent situation, you don't want to see that. Incidentally, we should insist that we get the leaders we want.
Prof, you've just highlighted or just stated that there is a lot of dishonesty, especially coming from both political class. Everybody wants to steal the election.